Hey, SallyBC here, and today I'm doing a video on the Transformers Cross X-Men Collaborative Ultimate X-Spanse. Make sure to tell me what you think of it down in the comments. Now this figure, well, it's not the best, is it? So here it is in its X-Jet mode, the jet the X-Men use, of course, and I gotta say, wow, this looks phenomenal. I had a DVD of the old 80s X-Men show when I was younger, and this really invokes that. Unfortunately, there are a few seams and gaps that affect the overall cohesion of this mode. There are some colours on this guy that help to break up all the blue. There's this large patch of black on the back, as well as some red X logos and some yellow vents. The yellow doesn't look great due to the colour being difficult to paint on darker plastics like blue. The window is made of a translucent red plastic, and it looks pretty nice. His weapons can be stored in a few places in vehicle mode. Underneath there are two 5mm holes that they can go into, and this is my preferred place to put them. There are also 4 more holes at the back, but since they're at an angle they can look a little awkward. You could untransform this bit slightly to get them pointing straight back and use them as thrusters, but since this guy only comes with one accessory that could pass as a blast, it's not all that useful, unless you have more blast effects, that is. They can also be stored on these small pegs underneath the wings, though the wings are a bit too weak to even keep themselves up, let alone the accessories. Yeah, you need to have the wings pointed up, or they'll just flop down. Oh, and they pop off all the time as well. This guy does come with 3 other accessories. 2 tiny non-posable figures of Wolverine and Sabretooth from the X-Men. Oh, and this weird thing. The figures are barely painted and Wolverine has a particularly creepy face. They're positioned in some pretty sick poses, but Wolverine is unable to stand up, which I have seen as an issue with not just my own copy. Look at these thick claws. They wouldn't even cut through butter. Coming back to this thing, it's supposed to wrap around Wolverine as a, what? A broken Energon hula hoop? I have no idea what the point of this thing is. It looks bad and barely even stays on. The undercarriage is pretty good for a jet transformer, but it's still obvious that there's a robot folded up underneath it. Speaking of undercarriage, this guy does have some pretty good landing gear. One at the front that easily folds into the nose cone. Would you even call this a nose cone? And 2 at the back that simply flip forward with nothing hiding them away. Moving on from all that, did I mention how big this guy is? He really is an old leader, which makes sense since he's a heavy retool of the studio series Revenge of the Fallen leader Jetfire, which I don't have. So for size comparison, here he is, as always, with Earthrise Optimus Prime. Another leader class jet, Titan's Return 6-shot, and my previous Transformers video, Kingdom Waspinator. Now let's get on to the transformation. To start off with, you're going to want to fold away the landing gear. Come to the thrusters and untab them. You're going to want to take this entire section and just attach it like here. You're then going to detach these pieces and move them out. And then this piece will fold down and clip into place like that. Then you're going to want to come to these flaps here and just open them up like this. This will allow you to move this side piece out. The same on this side. You're then going to want to straighten these out on these 2 ratchets. Next, you'll move these segments forward and down, like this. Same on this side. Oh, my fingers are already hurting. Next, you want to come to the caps of the thrusters and just fold them down. This will allow you to separate these open, this piece folding down and this piece folding up like this. These will swivel around and then fold back. Same on this side. You're going to want to take this fin, fold it in like that, and then you can move this entire segment up. Then you can collapse these around the leg like this. Then you can just flatten out the foot and fold this wing back. Then you're going to want to do the same to the other leg. And then the 2 legs are done. That is a lot more painful going the other way. Moving on to the top section, you're going to want to split these side pieces open like this. That will allow you to grab the nose cone and move it up. Then you can take the arms and fold them down like this. Next, you want to turn these around, and these will just collapse around like that. Move the arms down and swivel them around like that. Same on the other side. Next, you take this piece up here, and this will fold down. Try not to bring the head with it. Come on. Like that. This piece will fold down. This might be the highest I've ever had my camera. Hey, editing Sal here to say I forgot to film this piece of the transformation. What you do is you flip this piece round, which can be quite difficult because it collides with the shoulders. Fold the nose cone in half like this. This piece will fold round again like that. And then it just sits along the back. And this just folds up, tabs into place like that. And there you have Ultimate X-Spanse in his robot mode, taking up my entire recording space. As I'm sure you could probably tell, that transformation can be a bit of a pain. It's pretty smart and fun for the most part, but the legs are so fiddly that I never find myself wanting to transform it, as it ruins the whole experience. Though Robots a Jet is so much worse, which will make filming this outro a massive pain. That being said, it does result in a somewhat cool looking robot mode. It has some good colour distribution with lots of yellow on the body with the chest straps and belt, both leading into X's with some popping red that draws your attention. There are also some nice silver highlights on the chest, adding some extra colour, as well as some vents on the side. The slightly awkward looking face is painted silver with some nice red eyes, and it has a flip down yellow visor with a red line going through it. There's also plenty of yellow paint around the body, like the knees, shoulders and thighs, and the black from the jet mode is dispersed across the kibble. I guess we should talk about this kibble, shouldn't we? The entire nose cone is folded up onto the back, as well as some panels that spread out into some wings. They look a little low to allow for flight though. There are also these weird flaps behind the head, which I actually kind of like the look of. Two of the landing gear end up on the sides of his body, but you can fold them back if you prefer it. I think he looks too skinny like that. Maybe he needs a sandwich. The small wings end up on the back of his legs, and they look a little messy, but the rest of the transformation bits give the legs some nice mechanical looking detailing. The proportions of this guy are a bit weird. The arms seem too short and the legs too long, and the kibble definitely doesn't help with that. The articulation on this guy is actually pretty good. There's a swivel at the head and a hinge at the top of the neck. Ball joints here that allow for a little bit of forward and backwards butterfly. The arms move out this far and with the ball joint all the way up. Swivel at the arm that's limited by the kibble. Swivel at the bicep and a bend at the elbow. A wrist swivel. There's a little wobble at the waist, but it's too loose to be useful. A limited waist swivel due to the kibble. Legs can move out this far. Can go this far forward and this far back. You can move the leg out to get it around the kibble, like that. Two ratchet joints at the knee, though one doesn't have much range, and it's more for transformation. A thigh swivel. The foot has a pivot and the toe can bend. The thrusters are also on very limited ball joints, so they can move around a bit. And the wings on the back can move down. The joints on this guy can allow you to get him into quite a few really cool poses. The weapons he comes with are a pink blast piece, I don't care if it's a reference to something, and a Wolverine claw piece. Unfortunately, one of the claws on mine is bent. These can be plugged into his knuckles, and I gotta say, they really fit this guy. The pink really contrasts the rest of the figure and stands out a lot. They also make posing him just so much more dynamic. The 5mm ports that are on the back of the jet mode are underneath the feet in this mode, meaning if you have any blast effects, you can make it look like he's flying. The instructions say the two little figures he comes with can stand on these flaps above his head, but even ignoring the fact that one of them won't stand up, they look really dumb. Full size comparison, here he is with Earthrise Optimus Prime. Another leader jet, Titan's Return 6-shot. And my previous Transformers video, Kingdom Waspinator. You have no idea how long it took me to stand that up. This figure is weird. I like it, but it has many flaws. The overall look of it is nice, and the articulation is great, but the leg transformation really lets it down. I also can't recommend it for the price it's supposed to go for. I got this for £25 because it was on sale, and if you can get it for something around that, I would recommend it. But that's about it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. My links are in the description, so I guess that's Salu BC out. No. I don't want to record this outro.